Someone said it's all about your attitude. It's all about how you respond to issues and situations and challenges that you face in your life. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 2.0. I'm so happy to be back on your screen. I'm so happy to be connecting with you right now. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week for new episodes of our show. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. And right now, before we go any further, I'd like to extend the invitation to you. If you have not had the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and do that now, so you're part of the 2.0 family. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that every time we drop an episode, you would be notified. So, this week we're talking about from incarceration to inspiration. We are talking to our friend Loulou. If you did not watch the first episode, go back and watch it and then come back and watch the second part so you can hear his amazing story. How that when God stepped into his life, he really changed things. He really turned things around. So it's a fantastic interview. It's great information. Feel free to share it with someone you think might find it beneficial. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the interview. So without further ado, let's go right ahead and jump into the second part of the interview, and we'll be right back. So fast forward to the 7 years, right? Mm-hmm. And comes the day that you're getting out. What was that feeling like?
It was surreal because I had a lot of dreams of getting out, only for me to wake up in the cell. So for the first week, for the first 2 weeks, every time I woke up, I felt around, got up, because I was in the halfway house, walked around, then went back and okay, I'm home. Right,
you're out. Yeah.
But I was for 2 weeks, bro.
Got it.
I didn't believe. I'm. It's been too many times where you had a dream, you're home, everything is regular, and then you wake up to, and it's your door popping open for breakfast.
Gotcha.
And then you wake up, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about the first time you saw your mom when you walked out.
Oh man, she was crying. I'm not an emotional person too much.
No.
Yeah. I got to work on it, though, because my daughter's very emotional.
Why do you think that is?
Why? When I was younger, I was diagnosed with sociopathic tendencies.
Really?
Yeah. So it's I don't really have... You know what's weird?
What?
The closest I came to crying was the season finale of this show called Spin City. With Michael J. Fox. And it was because I watched all the seasons, and in the season finale, I remember he's on his rollerblades and he's skating through, and the crowd is clapping and everybody's clapping, and I got choked up a little bit.
Spin City. That's when they had the tall guy who plays the mayor, right, or something like that.
Yeah. The mayor was slow.
Yeah, right. Slow. Yeah. Yes. So that's the show that always makes
but that just shows how weird it was for me. I built the connection through the show,
right?
Because I watched it so much. But
gotcha.
As in terms of even my daughter was just even my daughter's mother was just oh, when you see your daughter, you're gonna cry. I know it. I saw my daughter. I was like, hey, baby. That was it. That was it. When my grandmother died, I cried. So so that was So that was 6 years.
Got it.
I haven't cried since 6 years, and then I cried for that. Yeah, and not even it's just tears coming down my eyes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So how long have you been out now?
Came out 21, so 4 years.
4 years. And what has life been ever since you've been out?
Well, 2025 been kicking my butt.
How so?
So this year, 2 of my rental cars got totaled, which sucks. One of them, I have to eat it because insurance won't cover it because the person gave me a fake license.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's one thing if you're not insured, but it's another thing to have it, because I always have my insurance at the end of the day for my rental vehicles. But if you're not a licensed driver,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to cover it, point blank. The other situation is just happened recently while I was on vacation.
Gotcha.
But other than that, though, excuse me, since I've been home, I've started a car rental company. I have a clothing line, All Lines Crossed.
Okay.
I have a podcast, All Lines Crossed. I haven't done an episode in a little while. I had to get my head right.
Right.
And it's time consuming, given the studio's all the way in Richfield. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So ever since it came out, you started a clothing line, you started a car rental company,
Yeah.
and a podcast. Was it All Line Cross?
All Lines Crossed.
What's the idea behind the name?
All Lines Crossed. It's exactly what the line, like what it says. There's no line I won't cross.
How did that come about?
How did that? Because I'm a very straightforward person, and I'm my podcast will come off as misogynistic. Only if it pertains to you, though,
Okay.
and that's what I say. If it pertains to you, it'll come off as misogynistic. It's just that with all these female artists and the black culture, I think the black culture is disgusting. Like what we accept and what we think is cool, you know? So like, it was before, you know, dudes talking about pimps and hoes and doing things like that. All right, cool. But now it's the women even degrading themselves, but wanting to be treated as like a princess. So you would have a non-traditional woman that wants to get treated traditionally.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. And I point those things out and call them out on it, and they don't like it.
Gotcha.
And they don't like it at all. They don't.
Yeah, I can imagine that could be very, very controversial.
But I like controversy, though.
Yeah, I could tell.
I do. I do.
So tell me about the car rental company. How did that come about?
Well, I used to use rentals a lot, so I was just like, I know it's a lucrative business. So I started Charleston Enterprise. I only had 7 cars on the fleet, down to 5 now. But I started it because I know that when you go for rentals, Fairfield, Bridgeport, Stratford, always empty. Like you could book a car and get there, and that car is not there.
It's gone. Yeah.
So I noticed that that's a good market. Like this is the area for that. Norwalk always has cars. Stanford always has cars. So I said I wanted to tap into that and see how lucrative it could be. And it could be extremely lucrative, except like I started with my own money.
Yeah.
I've been working 2 jobs since I came home.
Right.
And that's what sucked though, because I learned later on when you're starting a company, you don't put your own money in, you know? So, it's a lot of things I didn't take into account too. So like for instance, I had to get a cheap system rather than going to get a system that would identify whether ID's real or not, or things of that nature. Yeah. So, but I can only work with what I had at the time. So right now it's a matter of like trying to accumulate the money to update my system, but that's even harder now that I'm 2 cars down. It's a process. It's like it's tough. Yeah, it's tough, but the idea just came from me being a rental car user. So I know how to make it convenient for others to where I could drop off rentals, you know. I started for a little bit looking for cars for people. So my mom had me find Sister Mildred her car, and her sister her car. And my mom was just like, she's like, don't charge them extra, just find the car. All right, Ma, I gotcha. Because I usually charge it because I put in the work.
Like a finder's fee.
Yeah, because I literally, so for me, because it was Sister Mildred and, church members. So not only do I find the car, but I fix it. Yeah. So I fixed the car, and then all I do is, in that situation, all I did was charge you how much I put into the car. Right. So you're just paying exactly what I paid for it. Yeah. As we're with other people, I would add $1,500 on top of that. Gotcha.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
And from doing that, I went into the rental because I thought it'd be very lucrative. Had to get my Connecticut leasing license. So I did it the legit way.
Yeah.
If I did it the fake way, I'd have made so much more money. But I had to go legit. I had to do it legit because that's, if I ever want to get a loan for the business and things like that, it'd have to be a legit,
Absolutely.
situation. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sitting here just hearing all of the initiatives that you have taken ever since you've been out. You know, and I'm proud of that,
Appreciate that.
because, as I said in the beginning, sometimes you go through obstacles and you go through challenges, and some people would have said, well, you know what? Well, quote unquote, considered a felon now, so I can't really get a job. I can't do this. I can't do that. I hear a lot of people just, that's the narrative that they go with.
That's excuses,
so
bro.
They don't do anything.
You know why I say that's excuses? Okay, so this is little things about felons people don't know. I can't get life insurance. I can't insure my jewelry.
Wow.
As a felon.
Okay.
Certain countries I can't go into being a felon, even if it's been 10 plus years. I look at it things like this. All right. As Black people, we always been oppressed, but it never stopped us. So what's this like stop us now? Being a felon.
Yeah.
So this person is not a felon. This person is a felon. Their route might be like this.
Yeah.
My route might be like this.
Right.
But I could still meet them at over there. Yeah. People make excuses. I don't believe in excuses.
Right.
I think it's unless you show me that nobody ever did it, there's no excuse. You have felons that became lawyers. You have felons that became, firefighters. So it's like unless you're telling me that nobody ever did it, then it's a possibility. It's just a possibility.
Absolutely.
So I'm not really an excuses type of person, bro.
Yeah.
It's either you're gonna do it or you're not. Yeah.
I'm sitting here listening to as you're talking now, and then I'm also thinking about the fact that when we started talking and you said your mom saw you as an evangelist, but you don't know. And then you went on to say you're still trying to figure out what your purpose is. You don't know what your purpose is, or you don't know what God has for you.
Yeah.
But I think, you speaking about your story, or you just even, just making the difference between a felon and a non-felon.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's your message.
Yeah.
Just inspiring people, right? Just motivating people to get out of that mindset. Like I said, because, I'm sure you've heard people who's just complaining, well, I'm a felon, I can't get a job, right? But that shouldn't stop you. That didn't stop you, right?
Yeah,
you got a clothing line, you got a rental car business. There are plenty of other businesses that you can launch as a felon.
Jobs get tax credit for hiring felons. So there's a list of jobs that hire felons, People been felons for the long. Whole Foods hire felons, People pick and choose what job they want to work.
Right.
So that's why they say, I'm a felon, I can't get a job. You could absolutely get a job. You could absolutely get a job. You just choose not to work a certain type of job.
Got it.
And my advice for anybody that's a felon, restaurant business, they'll hire you.
Right.
They'll hire you for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So in addition to that, are you talking to people? Are you mentoring kids? Like, do you?
Well, I have my younger cousin and I have my boy from my neighborhood. I send them money every month and I talk to them on the phone. Because at the end of the day, I'm literally trying to put myself in position to be able to hire people that wouldn't get hired. My people, more specifically.
Right.
But yeah, so do I mentor? This is I'm a logical person.
Okay.
I'm not perfect right now.
Right.
So I don't feel like I'm gonna mentor anybody. I still have certain things to work on.
Right.
And I feel like I'm not I don't want to be a hypocrite. That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to be a hypocrite.
I don't think it's about being a hypocrite, right? I think it's about the fact that you have the experience, right? You were incarcerated twice, right?
Yeah.
And the path that kind of led you there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you see someone who's kind of like, hinting to go down that path.
Oh no, I definitely let them know. I definitely let them know.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely let them know. Only because it's like, listen, I think this is what I think life is. I think life is 10% problems, 90% on how you solve them.
Right.
So every decision you make is going to be the next outcome.
Right.
So the 10% problem could literally be we handle it this way, 2 days later it's over.
Right.
Or we handle it the wrong way,
Yeah.
and that 10% now becomes 70. You know?
Oh, it becomes the rest of your life.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at situations. Only thing about me is that, like, I know when it comes to like certain situations, I'm big on like respect, and that's something that I have to work on because like I'm like when you come from where I come from, like if you feel disrespected, everything goes out the window. Yeah. Every lesson you learned, it's like, and it sucks because that only shows a lack of self-control.
Right.
It only shows a lack of self-control. So what I'm realizing, getting older, is that the strongest person is not the person that's willing to do something, but the person that's willing not to do something.
The one who can actually walk away.
Walk away, yeah. And that's, I'm learning that, I learned that if I have to bring a gun somewhere, I don't want to be there.
Right.
It's just avoid situations at all costs.
Right.
I don't go out like that. That's why I fill myself up with work. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
I don't like to go out like that. Like, I'll meet coworkers, I'll meet a few friends. I went out for my birthday for sure. But it's like, I just know that, and it's sad, but in our community, envy's huge,
Yeah.
Like, especially my situation.
Right.
People envy, this is how I don't understand. People envy me, right? For what I've done since I've been home.
Yeah.
And they never been to prison and didn't do anything.
Right.
And I say to those people, like, you're still up. You could go to the post office and get a job. I can't.
Right.
You could get these city jobs. You could get these state jobs. You could get into a career. Like, school is not your path.
Right.
That's cool. They have a bunch of jobs that you could do that I can't even look at, brother. But they don't look at it that way. No one respects the grind. They only respect the result.
The result, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to. Once you're at a certain place, they like, I should be there. But when you be like, cool, put in this work. Nah, I'm straight. All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how's your walk with God now?
It's better, like much better. But it's like once it got good with God, the attacks came like crazy. But that's how it happened in prison, though.
Yeah.
Because what people have to understand is like, when you put things in God's hands, the devil only goes after who he doesn't have.
Right. Yes.
So you have to expect problems to come. And that's when a lot of people look at the situation like, God, I'll put it in your hands and now this is happening to me. And then I look at them like, did you really put it in God's hands if that's the case?
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's like, if you really put it in God's hands, then you should know that this situation is going to be okay.
Right.
I'm telling myself that because it's been rough. Like, it's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough, but it's like,
Listen,
so I go to New Life. Wait, is it New Life? Yeah. I go to New Life in Trumbull.
Okay.
Because it works with my work schedule.
Okay.
So I go to New Life at 8 a.m., and then I go to work at 9:30.
Oh, Gotcha.
So it works with my work schedule to where I'm able to go to work and go to church at the same time. But I'm still a member of Gospel Light, so my tithe is Gospel Light.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? So
gotcha. Yeah.
I didn't renounce my membership yet.
Yet.
So I mean, could you be a member of two churches?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, I thought I'd get a dual citizenship. But so yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that, you're still keeping up with your faith.
I have to. Now, I say that to say this. I'm still not where I want to be with my faith.
Right.
I'm still not there because I still have certain qualities. But believe it or not, that's an attack of the devil. Of when people say, I'm not good enough to go to church, or like, I'm not doing well, so maybe I should just forget it altogether. That's not it. Like, it's church is made for you specifically. For
Yeah.
you, the one that is falling short.
Exactly.
For you, the one that's like, you know.
I mean, have they seen some of the characters in the Bible that that
Horrible.
God worked with?
Yo, listen, horrible.
Yeah.
Like horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Not to say that they're horrible people, but it's just, it's just, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But the Haitian culture is to blame for that too.
Yeah, to a certain degree.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
When at my Haitian church in Stanford, when they used to see you with earrings or tattoos and they say you can't come inside here, now that I think about it, that's crazy.
I know. Listen,
that's exactly who should be in there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like that's crazy to me.
I know. So
that's crazy.
That could be like, we could do a whole series on that.
Oh man,
I'm not alone.
Oh man.
But yeah, like I said, I'm happy to see you're keeping up with your faith, you're keeping up with your walk with God, because sometimes a lot of some people will focus on it while they're incarcerated because they have nothing but time, they have nothing else to do. But once they get out, and then and then they're like, oh man, I don't have time for that. But to see you continuing to walk down that path and continuing to give God credit for everything that happens in your life, and that's very reassuring.
Is it weird that I'm motivated by chaos and turmoil? I work best like when I'm under the gun, So for instance, like my walk with God was the strongest when it was like yo,
when you had issues in your life,
I need them, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And not to say that I want to live life with a bunch of issues, but let's be real, life is a bunch of issues because there's always things gonna pop up. But given the situation that I'm in, it also creates a sense of discipline for me.
Yeah.
So one thing that people like don't seem to realize when it comes to like God is that he's a God of order.
Yeah.
So people like don't understand that like certain morals that we have, certain morals that laws are based on is based on the Christian faith. This country was founded
on Christian,
on Christianity,
Exactly.
So it's like it built like a certain discipline for me, and that's why I wake up and go to the gym even though I don't feel like it. Right. I don't like doing legs, but because of that I do legs twice a week. What nice. You don't like to do, you do twice. Yes. So it's my walk is not perfect, but I just know God got me, so it's like
absolutely,
it's dope.
Have you or are you in therapy? Have you considered therapy?
I tried it. It's not for me.
How so? How come it's not for you?
Because I self-reflect. Anything the therapist would say to me is something that I realized about myself already. The different dynamics that they give you are dynamics that I've seen already. Because I'm the type of person I think outside the box. Okay. I think of every possible scenario and every possible solution. Like for instance, I told things that I know about myself. When I expressed my characteristics to a therapist and they told me what it could be a result of, I told them that. Like I knew that, So like I'll give you an example. I'll get a little personal, right? I like having sex a lot. And that's due to when I was younger, I was molested by my babysitters.
Really?
Right? And I just told my mom like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
She's like,
oh my God.
But my mom said it didn't make sense because when she would like give me a bath, I'd be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? So she always wondered that. So I know that due to that, I like to have sex. But here, I'm going to get a little deeper with you. My kink is to degrade a woman.
Wow.
Right. Now, you would be like, okay, what does that have to do with you being molested? When I degrade a woman during sex, that's me taking my power back from what was taken from me as a child. You see the psyche to it?
Right.
Yeah, I figured out on my own though.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because I self-reflect. People don't understand. I self-reflect a lot.
Yeah.
Like I self-reflect a lot. So
but what do you do to help or to overcome that though?
Honestly, it's nothing to overcome. I don't care about it to overcome it. Like for instance, for me, I think it's just a matter of come down to discipline. Okay, that happened. All right, don't have sex.
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, even the part like where you're degrading the female that you're
that's a kink with, right? Though. That's not. I don't have sex to degrade a woman. I'm just saying that's what that turns me on.
Okay.
Which is not to say that that's the only thing that turns me on.
Right.
No, just, but that turns me on. Now, could I have sex without that kink and it still be amazing for me? Yes. So what I'm saying is I just know where that kink comes from.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying. It's not that it's a necessary kink that I need to do or no. Like I to be honest with you, probably a few women even know about that kink, given the fact that I don't act in that manner.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? So, but that's just me getting deep with you, just to let you understand how I am. And so, for instance, like after sharing that with you, 9 times out of 10, when we're done over here and we're talking, my arms are going to be folded like that. And that's going to be due to me having a vulnerable moment. So now I'm going back to protecting myself. Those are things that people go to school to learn, as where me, I know it about myself.
Gotcha.
So it's like, so therapy will be cool and all, but I don't need to speak about it because I speak to myself. I've been a loner for so long. Like I speak to myself, I realize it. I'm good at taking accountability, for my actions. So it's never like, I don't put the blame on anybody else for certain situations. I know that if I took the step in this direction and this is what happened, that's on me.
That's going to be the consequences. Yeah. Gotcha.
Would therapy help? Who knows? I don't see what it would help though. I don't see what it would help. I don't think I have coping, unless you could help with empathy. Like I don't have empathy like that.
Well, I mean, those are professionals who, who have different tools and different tactics and different.
Yeah, but I don't care to
ways.
have empathy though.
You don't care for it?
No. Like I feel I like selected empathy.
Okay.
I have empathy for those I care about.
Right.
But for me to see something happening to somebody, like I don't want to care, because then if I care, the type of person I am, I'd involve myself. I don't want to do that. So I'd rather have selective empathy. I'd rather have like for instance, like when it says I had sociopathic tendencies, right? When I don't care about something, I don't care, So that's why when I used to get into arguments with my mother when we were younger, my mother told me, she's like, Lou, when you were younger, I thought you were going to kill me. Like, and the thing about it is, that's her perception.
Yeah.
But what's going on in my head at the time is just like, I didn't even hate her. It was just more like leave me alone.
Right.
Like leave me alone. But she's just like the anger in my eyes. Because for a long time, I blamed my mother for leaving my father. I'm a junior. I was my father's favorite,
Wow.
So I blame my mother for that. But I didn't know. We didn't know though.
Yeah.
At the time, my father was schizophrenic. He suffered from depression. Right. We just thought he was crazy, So like we thought it was but when I dislike something, I dislike it all the way. I'm black and white.
Yeah.
So like, so if I have an issue with somebody, well back then now it's more like, I don't really have issues with people. You have to have an issue with me.
Gotcha.
Because if there's a quality about you that I don't like, I will address it to you.
Yeah.
And then that way we could, talk about it.
Yeah.
As we're.
So, just listening to you talking about, all the different things, it seems like there's, you've been through a lot, ever since you were a kid.
Yeah.
So you've been through a lot. So I get it that you may not believe in therapy, or you may not see the point or the need for it, but I think it could possibly help at some point if you.
So answer this though. In what way though?
I mean, just helping you identify, or even pointing you to certain, to certain coping mechanisms or certain things that can help with some of the stuff that you've been, that you've gone through.
Okay, if I've been through it already, what do I need to cope about?
You may have gone through it, but you have not necessarily have dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a possibility.
What difference would dealing with it make in my life at this point?
How old are you now?
34.
34. With God's help, you have plenty more years to go, right? Let's say you have like another 40 years to live. So
for me to do therapy, you would have to tell me specifically in what way would it help me compared to where I'm at now. If somebody was able to say, okay, do this, this, and this, I could help you I think therapy would help you get closer to your daughter, or or whatever the case may be. That would be a reason for me to do therapy. But if you're telling me that it could help me, but you leave it at a general statement, it could help me, you have to be more specific, because if it's not a specific thing it would help, I'm fine.
Well, I mean, I'm saying there's, there are a lot of things. Well, I don't want to say there's a lot, but I'm sure there are certain things that it could help you tap into, right? And realize why certain things are happening, or why you respond to certain things the way you do, or why you perceive certain things the way you do. So that's what I'm saying.
So you know what that could also do, though? It goes both ways. Now, what if it taps into something that creates an even bigger monster? I compartmentalize a lot of things. Tapping into that might not be good. I'm serious. I just know myself.
I got you. We'll just leave it at that. But anyways, so what's next for Lou?
Man, we're gonna get this rental car situation situated.
Yeah.
Nah, but what's next for me is I wanna buy property.
Okay.
That's what I wanna do next. I wanna kind of like lock in, focus in on self-help. I might even go to therapy. Listen, I might even do it. I might even give it a go.
Nice.
Whatever I could do to help better myself.
Exactly.
It's just like I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's just what's next for Lou. Definitely gonna try to lock in with the word. I set myself up to do a Bible study every day, but bro, it gets so difficult.
I know.
And it's my fault, because if I could pick up the phone and scroll through Instagram, I could definitely, because the Bible app is the Apple way, So it's the choices we make, bro. It's the choices we make.
I hear you, man. But bro, happy that you were able to spend the time with us here on 2.0.
All right, hey, I appreciate you guys having me.
No, definitely. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story. And I do pray that it inspires people who are listening. It shines some lights into, their lives and motivates them. And to, especially if they were thinking that, well, you know what, this is it for me. I have a record. I can't do anything. I can't get a job. My future is over. But listening to your story, I hope that inspires them and shows them, hey, you know what? It's not over. You can still get up and get it done. All right. So
appreciate you.
Great having you, brother.
For sure.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of 2.0. We appreciate you tuning in week after week. We appreciate it. So I hope you found the Lou's story very inspiring. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and leave us a comment. We'll get in touch with you. Again, don't forget, live every day as if it is your last day, because one day it will be. Thanks for watching 2.0. I'll see you next time.